Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for taking the time to be here this morning. Welcome to the Results Accountability 101 workshop. This is jointly sponsored by the Fiscal Policy Studies Institute and the Results Leadership Group. Results Accountability is a management, budgeting, planning framework that's been developed over the last 10 or 12 years that's presented in the book Trying Hard is Not Good Enough. You see a picture of that on the screen. And it's supported by two websites in addition to the book. The first of those, raguide.org, is a website that's an implementation guide for this framework, and it's got questions organized around questions that people typically ask about how to do the work, and I think you'll find it to be a useful resource later on if you want to move forward and implement these ideas. The second website, resultsaccountability.com, is the homepage of the Fiscal Policy Studies Institute, and if you go to that website, you'll find under the workshop section a place to download all of the materials that we'll be using here today, including the full PowerPoint presentation and also the workbook that we're going to be using. And you'll want to look for version 1.7 of that workbook if you download that material. I want to start by showing you a version of a product that you can see at the end. We talk a lot about in this framework of working backwards from ends to means. And so I want to show you what this looks like when it's finished. And this is a document that comes from San Mateo County, California, from their budget. And San Mateo County is one of the places that's adopted this framework as the basis for its budgeting work. And I tried to pick something that wasn't controversial, so I picked the elections program. And if you take a look at this page, you'll see in the upper left part of the page a little purpose or mission statement. And then they show two performance measures, not 10, 20, or 50, but just two. They show them not just as a point in time, but as a trend line. Then the next section is the story behind that performance. And the next section is what will be done to improve performance in the next 2 years, and that's it. That's their whole budget presentation. It's simple, it's common sense, it's accessible, and that's what we're looking for here in this work today, simple, common sense, accessible ways of doing the work. If you look at the second page, you'll see a place where the elections program can present more than just two performance measures, and you'll see that they're organized into three categories. How much did we do? How well did we do it? Is anyone better off? Those are actually the official government categories for performance measures in San Mateo County. It turns out that you don't need the jargon. You don't need the input, output, outcome jargon. We can actually say it in plain English. How much did we do? How well did we do it? Is anyone better off? And I'll show you a little bit later down the road where those categories come from. Now, a little bit about my background. And the first thing that I have to tell you this morning is that the Fiscal Policy Studies Institute is just me. Turns out that if you want to get money from foundations, you have to have a pretentious sounding name. So that's my pretentious sounding name. But we have a dress code, we have a snow closing policy, we have lots of supervisory problems in this organization, I can tell you that. My background is principally in state government. I worked for the state of Maryland for almost 20 years in the Department of Human Resources. Most places call it Human Services. But it's the welfare, social services, energy assistance, child support enforcement, you name it, agency. And for many years, I was the chief financial officer of that department. So I actually have a budget and finance background, which is kind of an unusual background to have given what we're going to be talking about here today. My profession, apart from being universally hated, is known for an impatience with process. Get to the bottom line. What are we actually getting for this money? And I think you'll see that impatience reflected in this work today. The truth of the matter is that my experience with this whole business of performance measurement, of planning, of strategic planning, all of that, in my career, it was almost always a big paper exercise waste of time. We spent thousands of hours producing this beautifully bound 7-volume set of plans that went up on the bookshelf, and nobody looked at it. Nobody did anything with it until the next year when we had to produce the next 7-volume set. And that's not what I'm interested in.